Hey everyone, this is Matt from drawingtutorialsonline.com. How are you all doing out there in YouTube land? I appreciate you joining me here this morning. Today's let's lower this 1 second. Today's live stream is going to be all about drawing this complicated pose today and how to see it in 3 shapes. I'm really looking forward to that. I wanted to kind of choose an unorthodox style pose. I'm just moving a couple things here. And yeah, okay. Phoenix, welcome to the live stream. And I appreciate you joining me here again. Now, moving forward, just let's get some housekeeping out of the way. I won't waste your time. We'll get to drawing momentarily. Starting next week, September 1st, which is going to be actually Labor Day here in the U.S., we're going to be starting our live streams. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a live stream every single Monday moving forward for about 15 weeks. That's the same amount of time as my fall semester at the School of Visual Arts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one aspect of my foundation drawing class, zoom in on it, and teach it here on Mondays in a regular live stream, but it will just be Monday instead of Wednesday, because Wednesday I'll be in the heart of teaching my foundation drawing class. I'm out of the house all day, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, starting on September 3rd, starting with teaching the semester, the fall semester at the School of Visual Arts. So I'll mention that a couple times because all summer long I've been doing live streams on Wednesdays, and we're going to switch them now till Mondays. Monday is the day that I have available because Tuesday is devoted to my members of drawingtutorialsonline.com with video critiques and their live Zoom class and everything that goes with that. So with all that being said, thank you so much for joining me. Let me just get my little sheet of paper set up here. And, oh, God, I got blue tape everywhere. It's sticking to everything. And I'll explain my materials, which are kind of the same old. And I will also explain my pencil, which is kind of the same old. Okay, yes, so setting up the paper. And let me just make sure that this is level. Oh, God, I had it all set up, but I just needed to see my YouTube screen monitor thing, and I'm almost there, people. I'm almost there. I know this is probably a little annoying. What we're going to do first is we're going to just do a quick little warm-up, because I need it. I totally need it. And this is going to be a really good class for me as well as for you, because I need some practice. I'm going to be drawing in front of my foundation drawing class is a little bit smaller this year, but I'm going to be drawing in front of a bunch of students, and I want to do good. So yeah, all right. So let's switch cameras here. And I appreciate all of your kind comments on the portrait drawing that we did last week. That one was so much fun. Yeah, I want to do more of those. Okie dokie. So let's do this. Let's switch screens. And so we have a figure on the screen next. And I saw this pose. I just bought a new photo pack. And I saw this pose, and I'm like, I got to draw this pose. I mean, it's a little weird. It's unorthodox, but it's just cool. Like, there was a lot of really good poses from like the front and tilts and all these great, but I'm like, we never draw a pose like this. Like, it's a little bit from up above. There's some foreshortening going on. There's some perspective going on. There's weird hands. The model's reaching back, and it's also actually really good for not having too much nudity on YouTube. The other one that I was thinking about drawing today was this one. This one's really nice too, but for a live stream, I don't know. There's a lot going on there. It just seems like it's a little bit more complicated than the one that I chose. And I like the one that I chose because it's different. There's definitely some perspective going on. Okay, so now, oh boy, that was a lot of talking. Let me get my butt drawing here. Now, okay, I'm going to use my Cola Race pencil, same old, right? And I'm putting it in my pencil extender. And what I need to do is just kind of shove it on in there so it just gives that pencil a little bit of balance. Now, I'm going to just mark my sheet of paper. Why am I marking my sheet of paper? So I know where the heck I'm drawing. That's all. I just need to make sure that I'm not drawing off of the camera. Okay, awesome. So you know what I like to do here. I'm going to try to squeeze this all into one sheet of paper. I need to get the feeling and the vibe. I just rearranged my whole studio. Yes, I rearranged my desk. I got a new light, massive light above my head, and cameras are next, and microphone is next also. But yes, hopefully this works today. So I'm going to cascade down, and this is what I'm going to teach first. When I teach my students first day of class, this is what we are going to do first. And it's ginormously important. And I'm sure I told the backstory on this, but yeah, ovals. Ovals. Okay, so that's my warm-up. And then what I'm going to do next is I want to just press down a little bit harder with my pencil and draw some smaller, like little circles. Again, I'm getting my finger joints moving, and yes. And then another thing that so I've got two values of line. Another thing that I think is extremely valuable, if you've been with me before, you know this. I'm sorry to repeat myself, but I'm a big believer in repetition is the mother of skill. Draw a shape and draw your pencil line on that previous line without going off of the line. And this is pretty much akin to a car not veering off of the racetrack. Let's try it again. So I'm going to draw a shape, and now I'm going to drive my car. My eyes are bugging out today. I was fine this morning, and then I saw my wife, and she had just put on perfume, and I inhaled it, and I almost died. It killed me. It killed me. I don't know if it's my sinuses or it was that. It's probably my sinuses, and I'm exaggerating. Okay, that's really good warm-up. If you don't believe me, practice this, okay? Another thing that we can do is wrap around, wrap around, wrap around, wrap around, and wrap some lines around that shape. Okay. So now the last little doodad, so I don't bore you all to death here on YouTube. You're like, who is this person? What are they doing? Let's just draw some long figure eights. Truffles is doing good. Truffles is definitely getting older, 11 and a half years old. She is a little lost since my Chloe passed away because they were sisters, and so she's definitely a little lost. Okay, but she's doing good. She's probably sleeping right now. Okay, so long figure eight, akin to the line of action. Now, if we want to do one last thing, pencil pages, welcome. One last thing. Let's just draw a shape. Okay, right down over here. Am I on the monitor? Yes. And let's draw a shape. And right next to it, let's see if we can't draw the exact shape. So this is angles. Okay, this is angles. I'm a big believer in angles. I hate drawing with straight lines, but this is how I learned how to draw accurately via these angles. Now, it's not perfect, but it's good enough for this exercise, which is a warm-up. Okie dokie. So now, let's look at this pose. Let's look at this. With the way the hands look, everybody, to me, it almost looks like a creepy pose. Like it's very creepy, and it's just different. Okay, so how would I tackle this? How would I tackle this pose? Okay, I should be on the monitor. So just looking. And I'm over here. I got plenty of room. Okay. So how I would tackle this is first, and this is what we're going to do, but I'm just showing you the primitive shapes. And look, let's try to keep our pencil on the sheet of paper so we're not doing chicken scratch. So my first line is the torso. Now, is that perfect? No. It's just warming up. So I'm showing you my strategy for how I'm seeing this pose. That is going to be my shape number 1. And this would be the probably 7 cervical vertebrae that bump up over there. I can just throw in a little bit of the spine. And you can't see the model's butt because I kind of blocked it out. But I'll just suggest it over here. So center line. So that's shape number 1. Okay. Now, shape number 2 is going to be the legs together. And this is how I'm going to try to draw it. So legs together. Don't get stuck in the weeds here. Just draw. And legs together. Hopefully you're drawing with me here today. But if you want to watch, that's cool too. Okay, this leg's a little bit closer to her hip, but heel, toes. So I'm going to call that shape number 2. Okay. Now, why do we do this? Why do we do this thing where we're drawing a shape? Because, look, I got the wrong angle there. The angle was a little bit more extreme like that. And it's the same thing as getting these angles over here. So that's why we do this. Now, okay, so that's going to be shape number 2. Now, the easy next shape for me is the model's hair. And I really kind of need to throw in the arm and the model's hair, and I'm coming on down. So that would be, for me, I'm not saying the arm is correct, but far from it. That's going to be shape number 3. So that's how I'm going to see this pose, okay? It's really, really, really super duper important that you train your eye, your vision, to take a very complicated pose, which is the title of this YouTube video, and simplify. So just now, okay, I got you on YouTube. We did not draw the arms and the hands yet. Pencil pages. Are the black wings worth buying? I see them for $30 a box. That's a tough one. All art materials. Why am I itchy under my nose? What the heck is going on? Okay. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. My daughter gave me these. I wish I can give you one because I'm never gonna use these. I'm never gonna use them. Is it worth it to get these pencils? If you draw all the time, yes. If you're not worried so much about being too strict with your rules, then yes, I would buy a box. Now, the 602 Blackwing, I'm not too familiar with all of the Blackwings. This is the only one that I've used, and I like it. Now, notice I'm not using it today, but I do like it. It's not my go-to, but it's just a really good pencil for life drawing, gesture drawing, stuff like that. Drawing where, I get you, there's all different types of Blackwings, but it's a good pencil. So now, I can't tell you if they're worth it. I can't. I pretty much earn my living with 2 pencils. These are the 2 pencils that I earn my living with, okay? And one of them is this Derwent Drawing Ivory Black. It's what I use in the classroom on newsprint paper. And the other pencil that I earn my living with is this Colorase pencil. So 90% of the time, I'm using one of those 2 pencils, okay? So do I have other pencils that I really super duper like? You bet. But those are the 2 that are my go-tos. Now, getting back to this pose, now I can say, let's just draw this arm and let's just suggest that hand going down like that and a little suggestion of the thumb. And that could be my shape number 4. Okay, just like that. Now, if I wanted to, I could gesture across like that and close the shape. It looks a little weird, and I'm going to be fighting with this all drawing long, but I like it. The real key here, people, so that this is more, let me zoom in just a touch. I'm a little far away. This is the key. the key with this particular pose is that you look at this negative space, make sure it's not too short, okay? Mine is too short. It's longer in the pose. Yes, it is, and we're going to gesture down into that thumb. This is just me teaching you what I'm thinking as I'm drawing, okay? Now, let's close this down, and let me just give you a couple more tips here. And then we'll get to the actual physical drawing. So, number one, it's helpful to see poses in shapes. So the first shape, like I said, is my torso peanut shape. We're trying our very best to get the angle of the shoulders and the angle of the butt. We're also doing our very best to get that length. The second shape that I am going to draw when I draw the pose is all of the legs and the feet together. And what I'm doing when I'm doing this is I'm looking at the distance from the bottom of the hip to the bottom of that leg. Now, I could have drawn the leg, and that would help me with that measurement, but it's fine. And I'm not getting into the little nitpicky details right now. I'm just going to the bottom of the toes. So I'm looking at that shape number 2. Shape number 3 for me is going to be the model's hair because it's easy. And shape number 4 is I'm not going to outline the arm, everybody. I'm going to just kind of suggest the arm. And I'm looking at this distance, and I'm looking at that distance quickly. Now, if you're doing a gesture, there's all different people teaching here on YouTube, and they're all wonderful people, and they all bring something to the table, and they're all very talented. Some people would be like, oh my God, this is a very stiff way of drawing. Matt is adhering too much to the photo. Maybe I am, and I'm okay with that. But in a gesture drawing scenario where you're drawing from the model, you don't need to worry about that this is perfect. You could exaggerate the hand, make it bigger. There's so much that you can do. But for this lesson today here on YouTube, I am going for a little bit more of the accuracy, because what this lesson means for me is a warm-up for next week. And I just like accuracy. Now, the other thing is if I go from the elbow across, it's a level line. Now, it should be a little bit more level on my monitor, but it's not. But I'm here to tell you that's pretty close to level in my studio. The elbow is equal with the hair. So these are, if you are going to spend 4 to 5 hours doing a drawing, this would be pretty cool for you to kind of go through these motions right now. And then what about this curl that comes out? What's right below that? It's that knee. Let me see. Actually, it's to the left of the knee. It's to the left of the knee. So my shoulder could come out. My hair could come out to the left. Okay. So what we're doing here is we're taking 1 or 2 plumb lines. We're taking a level line. And then I should also say, okay, from the back of the bicep or armpit area, what's right below that? What's right below that? Practical measuring. That is to, oh, I screwed up. Aha. Okay, hold on now. I'm just measuring. That, my friends on YouTube, is to the right of the center of the butt. So I did not get that properly. That needs to be over here. And that makes sense because the back, the lat muscles need to be a little bit wider over there. Okay, so I'm digging this. So this is the process. This is the process, everybody here on YouTube. Yeah. So listen, I'm a big believer in, use the tools that you want to use, but check this out. Why do I like this stinking coal erase pencil? And there'll be one day when I don't draw with it, for sure. But I like it because I can draw light as a feather, and it's very forgiving. So that would be like my H. And then I could go to like an HB. And then I can go to a B. And then I can go to like a 4B. So I've got my different graphites right there, but it's not the graphites, it's your touch. your touch. Now, check this out. I don't want to kill too much time here. Look, mechanical pencil. I don't even know what graph. I could do the same thing with this. I feel it's a little more difficult. I find it's easier on my forearm and fingers to draw with this. The coal erase, you just have to press down pretty hard. Okay, same thing. Same thing. One graphite. One graphite. Okay. Now, okay, let me get the black wing. Hold on, people. Let's talk turkey. Do they come sharpened? No, they do not come sharpened. I know I have one somewhere. Hang out. See what happens when you clean up your studio? You can't find shit. Look, Blackwing, 607. Light pressure is the most difficult. That's as light as I can go right now with a shaky hand. It's a little bit darker than that. You see it. So now going a little darker. This is actually kind of nice. But it's in your face heavy. So the other thing about the Blackwing, it's good and it's bad, depending on what you like. You really see the little white dots of the tooth of the paper coming through. And I don't know how I love that. Now, you probably can't see it on YouTube, but if I zoom in a little bit, it's a little bit coarser. Cool? Cool. Okie dokie. Questions? Do we have questions? Okay. So let's do this, people. Let's do it. We're going to draw now. Now, this was a scrap piece of paper from last week, and that was my warm-up drawing before I started class. Now, in this warm-up drawing, it's on a different paper. It's on a scrap piece of paper of the toned gray. I did not draw the three shapes. I did not use measure lines. I did not do any of that stuff. I drew in my own style, which is continuous line. Do you see how different these suckers look? That's technique, and this is style. I think this is one of truly, let me zoom out. I truly feel that this is what trips so many students online up. Because, like I said, there's all these great teachers online. They're really talented. They've got good courses, good lessons, all that jazz. But I feel like students get too caught up with technique. So I know my students do, because I teach a lot of techniques. This is a technique, and it is called three shapes make up the form. I've been teaching it for like 20 plus years. And one of my students always used to like make fun of me, and they'd be like, 5 shapes make up the form, and then they would draw like a funny cartoon character. It was cool. It was cool. So this is a technique. That's my style. My style is a little bit more continuous line. This is more how you see and how you think when you're drawing in your style. Make sense? Cool. All right. So let's do this from the top. And I got to get a new sheet of paper. So just chill with me here for a second. If you're new to my channel, say hello. Say hello. I'd love to get to know you. Just a reminder, we're going to be going live moving forward. Is this the front? Yes. Yeah. I'm going to get a new sheet of paper. I have to, like, the front has a different texture than the back. We're going to be going live moving forward next Monday, Labor Day. And I'm going to take one thing that I teach in my foundation drawing class, and we're going to expand on it here on YouTube. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. And then for my Zoom class, well, really... it's going to be a little bit different because I get to talk to my students on Zoom and critique their work on Zoom. Aha. So it's a little different than YouTube, but yeah. All right, so new sheet of paper. But I'll be doing kind of the same thing. The main difference between my Zoom class and YouTube is I get to critique their artwork during class in our Q&A session. I'm going to answer your question here in a second. I'm just taping this down. Sorry. I know this is not must-see TV here, but I'm doing my best. Okay. Let me just put this up so the camera has something to zoom into so it doesn't freak out your eyes and my eyes, and I'll answer a couple questions. This is pencil pages. I can attest that Cola Erase pencils have a certain feel to them. They can go very light to dark with pressure application. It's like a hard, waxy exterior. Yep. Question, how many minutes each day should someone spend in warm-up? Straights, skating lines, basic shapes, construction before drawing anything. I think what I used to do, and you alter it. I treat it like my classroom and how we used to do this in class. It's white paper today, Leah. I would warm up for 20 minutes. So, okay, so when I graduated from college, it was time for me to, and I'm going to draw in like 1 minute. You know what? I should just get started here in a minute. I would draw for like 20 minutes. And what I would do is copy an old master's drawing, a Bridgman drawing. And then that was about 20 minutes. And then the rest of the day, I would be painting. And I would paint all day, 7 to 8 hours. And so that 20 minutes was just to kind of get me going. And that's kind of what we also do in the classroom. So my class is from 9 a.m. to basically 3 p.m. And the first 20 minutes is just 2-minute gesture poses of the model. It's a way to get warmed up, and we do them all on one sheet of paper. Megana, this technique, like easy to draw and improve shapes to understand. Absolutely. It's just very simple. And if you do animation, cartooning, using this 3-shape technique is how you should design your characters. Okay, that's a story for another day. I'm not going to get into that today, but yeah. Okie dokie. Where's that pencil? Okay, I need to do the same thing here, people. I need to mark my sheet of paper, and I'm just going to see. I might have to zoom back out. I want to measure this and see. Oh, that's tiny. I need to zoom out. My God. So just to kind of give you a quick idea of size. For me, that is way too small, 7 inches. Now, okay, you're not drawing a stand-in figure, Matt, so it might not be that small. So I'll zoom out just a touch. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, if I need to make it bigger, I'll make it bigger. A little bit more, Cool. Okie dokie. So now I'm going to try my very best. Now, okay, first mark is going to be shoulder. And look at the model, draw the model. Look at the model, draw the model. Don't look at your paper for too long. So why am I... listen, I got you. This is not too exciting right now, so just chill with me for a while I give you some ideas on starting and fitting on the paper. So I do this line. That's the top of the back, shoulders. Do I have room for the model's hair? Yes, I do. Do I have room for the bottom of the butt? I do. Do I have room for the feet? It's going to be a close call, but I can always zoom out. Do I have room for the hand? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So I'm going to just go a little slower now. So this is the upper shoulder. This is the deltoid, comes in the arm. Now, if I go here, that's kind of the underarm area, lat muscle area. And now I've got an angle here. So notice I'm drawing very, 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 very lightly to start. And I'm taking my time. I'm doing light pressure because I'm going to spend maybe 4 to 5 hours on this drawing because I usually like to draw after the live stream. It's a good day for me to draw today after the live stream, just to get my creativity going and my skill up to par. So now don't get caught in the weeds. Don't try to be perfect. Just draw and make that pencil go down the page and get a feel for the bottom of the model's butt. And don't be perfect, and just go a little lighter. So if you make a mistake, you don't have to destroy the paper trying to erase. And so what I noticed when I did my warm-up, I noticed that I drew the torso too short. And so I don't want to make that mistake again. And so I'm going to just look at this, thinking angles. The hip comes out, the butt comes down, and then this side of the glute tucks in. Now, what do we say? The underarm is to the left, to the right of the center of the butt. So I want to make sure that I've got that. And this back is wider. And center of the butt, and then there's perspective with the model's butt because we're looking down at this model. So I need to slow my roll. I need to make sure that I use my touch and don't get too sloppy too soon. Okay. I like that. It's long enough. I do believe it's long enough. And this is to the right of the center of the butt. So now what I need to do, because I want to look at a negative space, is I want to get this deltoid and I want to draw the length of the model's arm. It's pretty long. And this curves. And then the hip. Okay. Now I'm looking at the distance from the arm to where the leg starts. It's pretty long. So I'm just going to get that in. Knee angles. Now, where is the knee in relationship to that shoulder? So I'm measuring. I'm holding my pencil on the actual paper, which is my iPad. The shoulder is slightly to the left of the knee. And now I'm going to say that across from this quad muscle is where the other leg originates. And it kind of comes almost straight down. It's angled just slightly. And then we've got the ankle. And notice I'm using some angles here. This is interesting. I think it's just because I haven't been figure drawing and I'm a little timid right now. I'm not being relaxed with it all, which is kind of not good. Now this angles. But hey, if you don't draw every single day, you're going to be rusty. That's just a fact. I can't expect to not draw for like 5 days in a row and then come back and draw and everything's going to be hunky-dory. It doesn't work that way. Like you really need to draw every day for things to flow a little bit faster. Now, at this point in the game, I need to tell myself, Matt, these feet are pretty big. And 1 second. I want to do one thing here. I want to make my reference a little bit bigger. And you need to look at this from far away. You need to look at this from far away. Maybe I'll lower these toes. And I'll just give myself a target for where I think those toes would go. Again, we're talking about toes. It's so funny. I'm always talking about toes and feet when we're doing figure drawing. Okay, I like the length. I like the length. Cool. And now I'm going to just throw in the model's hair. I've got to just be a little bit more flowy with things. Yeah, you could do that. I like the constellations. I call them targets. Yeah. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking at distances, and I'm measuring across and measuring down. So I'm saying what's right below the shoulder? What is across from this leg? How far are these toes from the bottom of the model's glute? Okay, so that's what I'm doing right now. And I am also doing my very best to look at the big shapes like we talked about in the warm-up. So I'm looking at the distance from the bottom of the model's butt to the top of their back shoulder. Okay, and that's very long. It is very long. I would rather have it longer than shorter, no doubt. So now what I need to do for context is get this arm in. So I'm just going to kind of, it droops down, angles up, angles out, and I'm looking at now, okay, here's a good one for y'all. How wide is the back? Is that wider than from here to the wrist? And yes, it is. And if this is where I think the elbow of that arm is, right across from that is the model's thumb. Okay. So I'm going to just suggest this. In a shape right now, and that should be on the screen. Yeah, okay. So I'm not too concerned about the other hand right now because I'm really just looking at this negative space. Now, look, I've got 1, 2, 3 lines for where I think maybe that goes. So, okay, now let's do some comparison. I think this is really valuable. Let me just get a little sip of water. This one's for core. Hello, core. Absolutely. This is what I did as practice in seeing shapes. We drew the torso, we drew the legs and the feet together along with a positive and a negative space. We drew the hair as a shape, and we drew the arm as our fourth shape. We said what's right below the underarm, what's right across from the elbow, the thumb, what's right across from that leg, the other leg, what's right below the hair, the knee is to the right. Okay, awesome. What's right across from the head, the elbow. Now, before I even did that, I just drew in my own style. And I just did more of like a continuous line style drawing. And that's how I do my gesture poses, and that's how I warm up. So we have 3 styles right now. This is a technique. This is my natural continuous line style. And this is called timidity. This is called YouTube live stream, trying to be too careful because I'm trying to save my ego and trying to get proportions, and I'm drawing for you on YouTube, and I'm not relaxed and I'm not chilled out, and I'm worried about the final outcome instead of enjoying the process. Do you understand that? So do you see like how light I'm drawing? I'm drawing timid. It's very stiff. I'm using the angles. I'm using multiple lines for the edge because I haven't quite figured it out. Whereas when I did this before class, I was like, you know what? I need to just draw, and I just drew, and that's the result. This is more, okay, I might be doing this for 5 hours today, and I don't want to make a mistake in the first 5 minutes of the drawing that I'm going to have to spend the rest of the drawing trying to figure out what the hell I did wrong, and that's going to be frustrating. Okay, so now next steps for me, and maybe this could be next steps for you, would be pick an area that looks easy for you to draw. Pick an area that looks easy for you to draw and start there. So perhaps I'll start at the top. I don't always recommend starting at the top, but I'm just picking it. And I'm going to get, that is called the 7th cervical vertebrae. It's a bump on your back. And I could also, it's the base of your neck, basically, where it touches your thoracic vertebrae. And that is really close to that. Oops. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, I'm going to say maybe it's a little bit over. Okay, so that's going to be home base for me. And now I'm going to say, okay, cool. We've got that. Let's get this shoulder. The other thing that I'm noticing here today on YouTube, so my wonderful bald head doesn't get into the video camera, is I've lifted up, my camera's lifted up a little bit, the one that's filming the drawing. So this drawing is so flippin' far away from me. Normally it would be down here, like where my pencil tip is. That's where the drawing would be, so I can actually get close to it. So I got to admit, I don't enjoy when the drawing is this far away, but you got to do what you got to do, right? When you're a teacher, you don't want your head in the monitor. So the other thing I would like to do also is to throw in some shape of value, because I'm a big, big believer in shapes. And I believe in shapes so much that I believe that they actually help you get the proportions more so than your line. And so I'm drawing that line that separates the light from the dark. I'm coming on in. Hello from Greetings from Paris Pizza. Sounds good. Sounds good. I'm sure it's really delicious over there. So I'm putting this tone in, and now that tone is going around the model's hip. I want to be a little sketchy with it right now. I don't want to be so perfect. So that's a very, very, very cool way to start. Totally. Okay, so now I'm going to go back here, and I think also what I want to do is just get a little bit of this model's hair. Get these angles because I don't have them correct. Squint at the photo if you need to. I'm also going to go, I'm not worried about the shape right now. I just want to get a little bit of tone in. So you see, as soon as we put that tone in, doesn't that help? Doesn't that help? It's okay, rock flowers, cats. It's all good. It's 3 absences. Sorry, 3 latenesses equals 1 absence. Rock flowers, cats. I'm joking, obviously, but I need to really stress that in my class because a couple students last year, and you know who you are, kept coming in late. But I'm going to enforce the 3 latenesses equals an absence a little bit more so in my class. There's always one student who's just strolls in late, like they own the whole joint, and like, yeah, I'm just coming in when I want, and I need to be a little stricter with that this semester. That's got to stop. Okay. Let's see. Do I have that? I'm going to show you a little. So pizza, from what age did you start drawing? Let me go get one of my first drawings. 1 second. Okay, so listen to me. My first memory of drawing was probably when I was 3, and I was drawing a dragster. For those of you who don't know what a dragster is, it's a long car that goes down the racetrack, quarter mile, very, 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 very fast. And my father used to be into cars, and so I drew cars all the time. And my grandfather said to me, The wheel, I go, Grandpa, how's the wheel look? How's the car look? He's like, the wheel is not round. Fix it. And then he walked away. That probably fucked with me for the rest of my life. Yeah, so 3 years old. I've been drawing my whole life, pretty much. Now, let me just switch cameras here for a second. I was recently at my parents' house cleaning out a bunch of boxes that they needed to go through. And I found this thing from 1977. And I remember my mother, I drew the vase and the flowers, and then I go, Ma, how's it look? And she's like, well, why don't you put some of the flowers on the ground to balance the color up top? And I was like, okay. And that still sticks with me to this day. And I tell my students that in class. I'm like, listen, you've got, the yellow in the sky with the sun hitting the clouds, but the grass is just green. Let's take some yellow and put it in the form of like wildflowers in the grass. So it's the same thing that I teach. So props to my mom for that. Okay, back to this drawing. Okay, so do you see what happens when you take a moment to add a little bit of tone? Yeah, that one was very old, very old. And I have a ton of old artwork. I'm not going to bore you to death. But that one I just grabbed because I was helping my parents just clean their basement area, a closet in the basement that just needed to be gone through. And we found that. So, yeah, very, very young, very young. I mean, I suck at math, so this is what I do. Now, you also want to look at the hair to the leg. And I'm for some reason, I'm doing straight lines today, which is a little different for me. And what does that tell me? Like I said earlier, it tells me that I need to draw more before school starts because I can't do straight lines in class. Okay, bottom of the butt. Lean back. Look at the drawing from far away. Lean back. Look at the drawing from far away. And so now this is pretty severe of an angle. So I'm going to get this heel. And that heel is in between. It's here, right below that. Going to move that over a little bit. Yes. Yeah, Nona pies are good. I actually had a Nona that used to make those types of Nona pies back in the day. I know what you're talking about. They were so good. I like pencil pages. I like how you spelled Sicilian. My spelling sucks, but that's so funny. Okay, so you can also look at this negative space. Toes. Just suggesting there's a lot wrong here. A lot wrong. I'm being very judgy of myself, but it's wrong. So what is right up above from there? Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, cool. And kicks out and kicks out. And this is the angle. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Oh, God. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I was just saying the Sicilian, the way that you spelled it, S-A-C. I just thought it was cute. For a beginner artist, that is too much a perfectionist. So I appreciate that, Dino Nuggets. Doing my first art college assignment right now. Your videos have helped me so much. My pleasure. My pleasure. So yeah, visit anytime. Okay, absolutely. I can't wait to start teaching next week. It's going to be fun. Now it's also going to be a grueling schedule, but I'm ready for it. You know, because I wake up at like 5 a.m. and I'm a commuter, so it is what it is. I've been doing it forever, and I'm old, so I get up early anyways. And yeah, I wouldn't change a thing. It's really cool. So my biggest advice for a beginner artist that is too much of a perfectionist. So you should divide your work into a bunch of different categories, maybe 2 or 3 categories. One would be sketching, just drawing from observation, drawing from life, drawing even in your sketchbook out of your imagination. That would just be sketching. The next category of drawing for a beginner could be practicing what a teacher teaches you in terms of the teacher's techniques. That could be something that you could do. And then there could be the work that you satisfy your perfectionist mentality with, and that would be your body of work, your portfolio. So I would try. So then you get a balance, because you just need to like sketch and draw and not care, and that's very, very, very important. So you need some of that, and then you need to practice new techniques, so you learn new skills, and then you need to draw in your own style, and just kind of do the stuff that you like to do, and that's where you can be like a little bit more of a perfectionist. Hope that helped. Bone structure practice should be done daily for figure drawing or any other exercises. I don't think it needs to be done daily. I think weekly you should draw and learn one muscle or one bone weekly, okay? And then, because you can't learn anatomy in one sitting, it takes years to really understand it. And the way that you understand it is first you draw the muscle or the bone. I would do bones first and then muscles. And then you draw a pose. So if I was going to practice drawing a muscle or a bone on this particular drawing, this one's really good for the rib cage, and it's really good for the spine. It's also really good for the forearm. I do like that. Chiaroscuro is just, I just did a lesson on that on my website. It's just when you have a light that is so bright that it hits, let's just say a portrait. It hits the portrait so brightly that the lights on the light side of the portrait are really bright, and the darks on the dark side of the portrait are really, really, really dark. That's what chiaroscuro means. At least that's what I think it means. Okay, I could be wrong, but that's how I interpret it. So it's really an intense light that really lightens up the light side of the model's body, where there's just like maybe 2 values of light, maybe 3 values tops. And then the shadow is so dark that you don't get a full gradation of values. You get a limited value structure because it's so light and it's so dark. I hope that helps. Yeah, Megana, I think anatomy is overwhelming. You know, you get your art anatomy book and you start to look through it and you're like, oh my God, I don't have time for this. This is overwhelming. I can't even pronounce these words. So start with something that is in every single portrait drawing. The clavicles, aka the collarbones. Just start drawing the collarbones and draw one collarbone alone, and then find a portrait photo of a model with like a tank top or something like that where you can see their collarbones, and just draw the clavicles. And so that's a great way. It's a easy way to ease yourself into learning more about anatomy, but not to the point where it is so overwhelming that you just kind of give up because it's just too much. Okay, get in there, people. We're a little slow. I'm a little slow today. I don't know what the hell my problem is, but I do know what my problem is. Last time I drew was the day after last week ago. I drew a week ago because I was rearranging my studio. Um, I had to take care of writing out all of my college courses in the software. There's software for college students. It's called Canvas, and that's where all of the instructors have to write out their syllabus and the homework and how I grade. And you don't do that in an hour. It takes a little while to do that. Now I've done it for so many years that I can thankfully copy and paste a course from last year. But I'm one of the teachers who actually wants to constantly improve. So I'm rewriting some days of class. I'm adding different things. And so I don't want to just copy and paste what I taught like 3 years ago and have it be the same identical thing. Like I like switching it up so I don't get bored. Absolutely. And you just improve as a teacher when you do that. So you don't get just too pigeonholed into teaching the same thing on the same day in the same style. I'm not changing dramatically. They're just like little tweaks. Okay. Muscius muskrat. Boy, these names are tongue twisters. No, I wish I had an affiliate link to this place because I recommend them all the time and I have no affiliation with them. So there's a place, there's a lot of photo reference places online. You just have to be willing to spend a little bit of money to start to build up your own what's the word that I'm looking for? Library of reference photos. And yeah, so I used to take my own photos, but that became cost prohibitive. And when I was an illustrator, I took all my own photos of models. I don't really do that much anymore for a number of reasons: time, money, and everything else that goes with it. So there's so many good photos online that it's just easier to purchase somebody else's photos who's a professional photographer who does this full time, who has access to professional models. And yeah. Paul, that's really hard. Hold on. Okay. So I've got these books, and yes, this helps. So this was last. Look at my writing; it's terrible. Liberty was fourth row. Anna was third row on the right side in the row. Ari was right near me to the right. Leo, second row to the right. So this does help. It does help. Absolutely. So then, when by the time the students change seats and all that, like then I should know them pretty much. But it's hard because then I get like brain freeze. Like I'll get brain freeze. I'll see a student from last semester that I had a real connection with, and I'll be in the elevator with them, and I'll forget their name. And I feel like a jackass when that happens. And so I'm going to just bring those booklets with me, and I'm going to glance at them on the train because the first day of class is so exciting. And the animation floor is a very small floor. There's 2 floors. They're actually big, but all the students are there. It's consolidated now. So I'm going to see all my older students. And so I want to remember their names. It's a thing. It's a thing, Paul, because I've had students that I really had a huge connection with. And then, you're in the hallway. It could be a random Wednesday in November. You're fried. You are working on 5 hours of sleep, and your brain just doesn't remember. And so I hate that. I did take a course. It was so flippin' boring that I canceled the course. It was how to remember anything. And basically, you just have to associate pictures and words with things that you want to remember and associate those people to something. That's hard when I have 100 new students a semester, no doubt. But I saw the merit in it. It just, time. I didn't practice it. Do I even want to incorporate the other hand? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. Right now, I just want to leave it like that. Okay, how are we doing on YouTube? Are we okay? Some of my older students from when I taught in the early 2000s in the animation department are now teachers in the animation department. There's Luce, who was a student of mine many, many years ago. And now they're a teacher that teaches in the room right next to me. So there's a lot of people who graduate from SVA, work in the industry, and then get a teaching job. And it's really cool to see this happen. Let me just take a measurement. Okay. How are we doing on YouTube? A beginner artist not to do. I'd rather talk about what to do instead of what not to do. So I'll answer your question, Pizza. So what not to do? Just draw out of your imagination only. Don't do that. I believe in this other thing, and it's called the 3 disciplines. And the 3 disciplines are drawing from life, drawing from photos, and drawing from your imagination. Now, one of the things that I did when I graduated from college was I only drew from photos. I stopped drawing from life, and I never really drew out of my imagination because I sucked at it. And so I would say don't do that. Don't just draw one way. Like, I'm going to have students in my class on Wednesday who for years kind of just drew out of their imagination. And then when we start to draw from life, they have no clue how to draw from life. And that's why I'm there to help them to learn. And then the same thing in my perspective backgrounds class. I have some students in that class, I give them photo reference to copy from for the assignment. And they cannot draw from that photo because they've only drawn out of their imagination. And they don't know how physically to draw from a photograph. And their accuracy is so completely off. So that would be what not to do. Don't just do one thing. Don't just always draw characters out of your imagination. Like, sure, do what you love. Let's say you love to draw characters out of your imagination. Do that. But then mix it up. Draw something from life. But Matt, I can't go to a life drawing class. I'm 15 years old. Or I live far, far away from a city. You could draw a family member watching TV. You can draw a sleeping pet. You can draw a still life. That's all drawn from life. So there's no excuse. Like, you could do this. You could totally do this. Yeah, 3 shapes make up the form. Now, I believe that to be true, like in most poses. Absolutely. How's that negative space? It's okay. Now, listen, I'm going to give myself a little commercial here. All of these drawings moving forward that I am drawing here on the live stream on YouTube, I am putting them for sale, and there's a link to my personal website, not Drawing Tutorials Online, but my personal website, where there's 2 drawings that I did on live streams, the portrait from last week and then the messy hair portrait. Those 2 are available to be purchased, and the original drawing, not a print, and they're pretty affordable for original art. And so, yeah, that's available to you. And then on Matt's matthewarchambault.com, the link that I provide, I also offer one-to-one coaching. And you're like, I can't do the coaching. Well, maybe you can. It's 4 sessions and you will improve so much. It's totally one-on-one time with me, and I'm critiquing your personal work, and that's how you get better. That's how you get better faster. So a little commercial. Do what you will with it. You can curse me out. Everybody needs to promote themselves. If you're an artist, you need to promote yourself. I didn't do that when I first started because I was so young and shy, and I didn't know anything about promotion. And you just got to do it in a kind of non-intrusive sort of way. Provide a lot of value to people, which is what I'm trying to do right now. And yeah, so it's those things are available to you. Yes, Graphit Studio does offer affiliate links. Reach out to them directly, usually via social media, their Gumroad page, and request your personalized. Okay, that would be cool. Thank you, William. I owe you. I owe you for that. Just draw that big toe as an oval right now. So I gotta say, people, I am very stiff today. I don't know what my problem. Well, I do know my problem, and I've explained it. But yeah, it's bad. I shouldn't have let myself go for so many days without drawing. Just looking at these vertebrae. Just represent them as like these ovals. And then we have these 2 towers that are adjacent to the spine. And they're your erector spinae. They keep your body upright and erect so you don't tip over. And they're just 2 cylinders like right here on the side of the spine. And you can see the side planes of them right there. This is where I'll have fun with this drawing when the live stream is done, with all of this like subtle shading. I'm going to try to draw the hands as best as I can. Let's see. How long have we been doing this? We've been doing this now for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Not bad. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. The drawing may be a little less than that because we did the warm-up drawing. I talked a lot. Yeah. Make sure that when you draw these ribs that they wrap around the oval of the rib cage. Do not draw them with straight lines. This is the scapula. Rib going across. We've got vertebrae over here. Little details. You don't want to go too crazy with the vertebrae. Just suggest a few of them. The other thing that I'm going to enjoy doing is actually dropping the drawing because it is so far away from me. Like my arm, when I'm drawing right now, if I come across from my arm, it's equal with my chin. That's very high for me. Okay, so this is from Pencil Pages. Question: when sketching freehand perspective, how do I go about adding the torso, hand, leg you usually see in various drawings from artists' eye view, vista? Boy, I wish you can send me a picture. I'm confused as to your question. Pencil Pages. You got me with that question. I'm unsure how to answer it. It's just because I'm not understanding the question. Maybe ask it a different way, and then my brain will see it differently. Try that. Let me just do something here because I have the room for it. Cool. Okay. So is that hand on the paper? Yeah. I'm too lazy to move the paper over because it's going to screw everything up. I think this needs to be moved over. How I'm drawing here with these straight lines for me is an absolute no-no, but it's where I'm at today. So I'm just going to kind of roll with it and not beat myself up so much. If you lean back, your eyes can see your mid and lower torso, legs, and arms as well as the surrounding area, like a fisheye lens. I'm just looking at this question. I'm just trying to concentrate while I'm reading it. I think what you're asking me is this would be stomach, this would be legs, navel. Is that on the camera? And then chest, shoulders, back, first rib, collarbone, oblique, rib, chest, rib, chest, and then lower leg, and then foot. So I would do it like that, and then the head would be an oval. So the thing that's going to help is if one of these surface planes was shaded. So this being shaded, this leg being shaded. So just top planes would catch light. So the top of the head, top of the shoulder, top of the upper leg, top of the foot. That's how I would do something like that. And then let's say that foot would go like that. So I would treat it, and then we have ears and ear. I would treat it something like that. I hope that helps. In terms of the in terms of your sketch pad, put sketch pad here, and then hand, and just doing this like in a rough way: bicep, shoulder, pencil, and then you would just zoom in. So if I now give it like a frame, then I can start to see the perspective and all of that. Yeah. Now, in terms of the curve, like it doesn't need to be so curved like that. It depends on what your style is and what you're looking for. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. What I usually tell my students is to take a picture with their camera first, and then study the picture, and then do it. The week 4 of my perspective class is 4 and 5 point perspective. And when I first started teaching that, I wasn't really into it, but I've seen my students do like some of the best work in 5 point perspective, and I'm a believer. Like they're so good, and I'm like, you have to use that in accordance with your style. Like when I was a book cover artist, I never would use a 5 point perspective because it didn't suit my style of book cover that I would paint. My book covers that I would paint were very quiet, very calm. They were more of like a portrait of the main character within the book. So I would never in a million years be using 5 point, let alone 4 point, let alone 3 point. Now, I'm sure I used 3 point once or twice by accident, because I didn't understand back in the day in the 90s that hand needs to be longer. That was distortion from the camera lens. So if I took a picture of something and I might have distorted it, and I didn't know what I was doing back then. So if I did 3-point, it was done by accident. Let's see what we got here with this hand. So it's a little bit higher than that. This is just going to screw me up in terms of time. That's a long hand. Oh my goodness. Okay, so fingertips, angles, wrist is very skinny, hand comes down, hand goes up, little finger comes down. So I would block out that hand like that. I'm going to leave it like that for now, just as a learning thing. Now, listen, everybody, if you like what's happening here on the live stream, give the video a thumbs up. That would really help. If you like this sort of content and you want to join me this fall every Monday at, I think I'm going to start at like 10, because I like the opportunity to finish these drawings with a little bit more time. And if I start at 10 and let's say I end the live stream at 1, then I have like from 1 to 5 pretty much to finish the drawing. It's not going to be like a 10-hour drawing, but it'll be at least a 5-hour drawing on every Monday. So that would be cool, because then I can start to actually build up a little bit of body of work. But yeah, if you're into this, give it a thumbs up, please. That would be helpful for the channel. Okay, so breast, just suggest it. There's a couple of ribs that are sticking out, and then that's the lat muscle. It's all very small over there, and it's very light. This is where now you can start to apply some form lines going around the cylinder of the arm. You don't want to have the breast that light. So this is where the light meets the shadow over here on that shoulder. I'm going a little darker. Use some lines that curve around the form. Curve that rib up. The ribs are pretty thick. And go a little darker at the dark halftone, the line that separates the light from the shadow. Go vertical with some of the strokes so you're not going too horizontal with everything. So Angelia, I don't know if you're still watching, but these are some of the strokes that you got to put in. And then you can go over it with the brush, and then they fade away. So they're there, but they're not really there. So have a nice gradation over here on the glute. And that's going to curve under. Let me, I'm going to move my sheet of paper slightly over to the left. Okay, just hang in there for a second. I got 14 million different pieces of tape. Yeah, you got it, Leah. I just bought this model pack last week. It is so good. It's good for anatomy. Yeah, it's the model. You can see every muscle and bone pretty much. So it's cool. My drawing's very stiff today. I don't have that organic line that I would really like to have. So I'll try to add that organic line on top of what I have. So don't forget about that Michelangelo live stream that we did. So we can start to get a wee bit more complicated with the edges, and I need to move this part of the foot to the right. Yes, I do. Okay, as I hit my nose on the microphone. Okay, pencil pages. When holding large sheets on a drafting table, should I buy masking tape or bulldog clamps to hold them? Yeah, so listen, for paper, there's nothing better than blue tape because it doesn't damage the paper. You can peel it off. It doesn't leave any residue anywhere. This is like the best tape for paper, in my opinion. If you want to use clips, you'll save some money on tape because the tape is not cheap. And but I don't use a lot of tape, but it's good. I'm a big believer in using the blue tape. So I would use that. In the classroom, I use clips because I'm drawing on a drawing pad. And it's a little annoying, the drawing pad, because it's a big newsprint pad and it's a little unwieldy. And so, yeah, the clips are better. Tape isn't going to work in the classroom. How we doing, people? Is this interesting you? Are you drawing along with me? What questions do you have? So just have your pencil strokes curved. Should I use the brush to put in some subtle tones? I think I'm going to use the brush. Yes. Making the feet a little bit of a silhouetted shape. So, yep. I'm just using the brush to speed the process along, push the pencil into the paper, boy, there's like 14 million cars outside. There's never cars outside. Okay, very cool, Paul. And so this is just a way to make the shading process faster, for lack of a better phrase, to soften the drawing and almost like you're painting it. I really like this. I don't ever do this in my classroom with the animation students. This is just something that I enjoy doing. Now, the small of the lower back isn't as light as the top of the rib cage. The lightest light is pretty much here. So I don't want to blend there, but I want to blend on the sides. And then you can get a smaller, stiffer brush, and this really super duper pushes the pencil into the paper. Now, this bud is not as bright as that. Small of the back is a little bit darker. This whole side of the model's body is a little bit darker. And then take some of the residual from the brush and just draw with it. And then if you want, you can be a little bit of a lunatic and use a bigger one. And just push into the paper. Why are we doing this? Because we're going to draw a little bit with our eraser next. And this is just softening everything. I'm being extremely aggressive with pushing. Okay, Rock Flowers, Cats, be good. Thank you for joining me. Maybe I'll see you next Monday, 10 a.m. Be there or be square for the classes that I'm going to teach every Monday here on YouTube. Okay. So now what we can do next is we can draw a little bit with our eraser. But before I do, I just need to get a little drink of water here. Core. Okay. So right here, there's no pencil there, but I'm just going to erase anyways. Maybe I should have put some pencil there so I can erase. So let me do this. There's residual from the brush. So now I could use the mono zero, but I'm in a needed eraser sort of mood. Oh, that's cool. That really shows up. Nice. And then I'm just showing you some different things that you can do. That's all. And then I could come in over here and really work my edge and clean this up. I could also eliminate an outline to loosen the drawing up. I can make my outlines look a little bit thinner with this eraser. And then I can use a brush to get rid of the eraser crumbs, so I'm not putting my hands all over the drawing. I could use this eraser to start to build up some texture in the background, because I don't want to erase just right around the model, because then it'll look like a halo. It'll look weird. So this is just, it's cool. It gives you a lot of different options. And then I could come in on the vertebrae and just erase out a little bit. Just keep looking at the model. Look more at the model, i.e. the photo. Look more at that than you look at your paper and your drawing. You don't want to be drawing out of your imagination now. And that's what I'll be saying the most come next Wednesday to my students. Look more at the model than you actually look at your piece of paper, because got a lot of shy students, and on the first day of class, it's life drawing with the nude model. So there's a lot of, they're almost like afraid to look at the model. It's a fun experience. It's an exciting day. And I'm just trying to get them to look more at the model. So it's life drawing class. And most of them are not used to lifting their head up and looking up, because like I said earlier in the live stream, that they are so used to just drawing characters out of their imagination that they're constantly looking down at the paper. And that's just a habit that we have to try to break a little bit for life drawing class. Yes, you do, Paul. I know you do. Absolutely. If you're doing drawing, you have an imagination. You just kind of maybe haven't explored it yet, given it time. Um, and there's exercises for that too. Like if a teacher was to give you an assignment to maybe one assignment that I give towards the end of the semester in my perspective class, we do machines. I think that's week 12, which is cars, robots, spaceships, stuff like that. And then week 13, we do how to draw animals in perspective. And so I try to get the students to be creative and to combine an animal with a machine or vice versa. And it's pretty creative. They do some really cool stuff. So a way to build up a little creativity is to combine two things. And so one thing that we can combine is, like, we can combine this model that we're drawing now with a robot. So maybe parts of her body could be a little bit more mechanical. We could add tattoos on this model's body, and that would be a little bit more creative. Does this roll in? Is this a convex line? I think so, but it's so faint. So that's more of like a Michelangelo line rolling in. This, I don't see it roll in, but I'm going to have it roll in just a touch. I'm going to drop that hip. Now, I had a couple students ask me, why did you put that dark outline there? Shouldn't you erase it? Like, why are you doing an outline? It's just my style. That's what I like. If you don't like a heavy outline, then don't follow what I'm doing. I just like a heavy outline in some places, not in all places. So now, everybody, and Angelia, I am now, you see what I'm doing? I'm building up the thickness of the line. And as I'm doing that, I am trying my very best to add some convexes. So if you're working with me, like I've added a convex here, added a convex here, added a convex there, added a convex there, made my edge line a little bit more complicated. Okay. And I'm also trying my very, very best to go over the initial stiff lines that I drew that weren't really great. And I'm trying to clean them up and make them look a little bit more exciting. Okay, so this leg. Now, do I really need to outline this lower leg as hard as I'm doing? No, I do not, but darn it. I'm just really doing my best to complicate, because if I want the model to have a realistic vibe, a cartoony vibe is a very simple edge. A realistic vibe is more of a complicated edge. So if you look at your drawings and you're like, why are my drawings like, why do they look like a cartoon style drawing? It's because the edge of the model that you are drawing is too simple. And you need to go on in there and you need to make the edges, to use an 80s term, a little bit more tricked out, a little bit more complicated. Even if you kind of push the complication a little bit. Like, you don't even need to draw the inside of this foot if you spend time really complicating the toes, the edge of those toes. Now that's a little outlined for me, but I don't hate it. I know some of you on YouTube might be like, oh my God, the outline, he just made it look too stylized and too flat. So you gotta, as my wife always says, you gotta do you, boo, right? And so you just gotta do you and draw how you want to draw, and don't follow what the teacher does too much. Use what the teacher teaches, but more hierarchy of things, but you have to kind of make yourself happy with your own style also. Okay, I'm slowly getting into it. It only took me an hour and 37 minutes. Better late than never, right? I'm going to take the perfume that my wife sprayed on and I'm going to hide it because it definitely fucked with my sinuses. Absolutely. Uh-oh, I think I just got a text from my wife. She's in the office across the street. No, I did not. Across the hallway. No, I did not. Thank God. Okay, good, good. That would have been funny. How are we doing on YouTube, people? We doing okay? Should I keep going with this? Should I end soon? Any suggestions, let me know. Any questions, let me know. So I'm seeing when I used to photograph the models, like you'd always get like these imprints from like a waist or like a tight article of clothing would make an imprint. And I'm seeing that on this model, and we're going to use that as a way to get some form lines that wrap around the model's hip. Now, be careful with those horizontal form lines. You don't want to do too many of them because they'll make the drawing look choppy. Sometimes it's better for you to go vertical. Okay, so let's make this leg look a little bit more organic. I actually don't mind the outline being that dark. I kind of like it. Normally, that's a knee that's going into the background. And usually what I would do with that is I would make it lighter because it is going into the background. But that's the shadow side of our model's body. So I kind of like it a little bit darker like that. Now, with this leg, you want this to droop because gravity is pulling down the side quads there. It's kind of a bunch of things going on over there. It technically could be tensor fasciae, not tensor fasciae latae. It could be your ITB band over here. I'm a little confused right now with this pose. It could also be the hamstring. So far I talked about every single muscle pretty much that's on the leg. It's a little confusing to me. Maybe what I'm drawing right now is the bottom of the ITB band. Okay, so pencil pages. Thank you for the advice. I'll buy blue masking tape to hold. Now, listen, you gotta spend the extra money and get Scotch because they sell brand X blue tape and it ripped my paper. It's gotta be the Scotch brand. Okay, listen to me. I have this pad, and it's the spiral bound pad, and I like it. Now, if I'm drawing from life with it, I am flipping it, and I'm drawing like this. I'm holding the pad like that. I'm drawing like this. If I'm standing up in a museum, it's this lower part of the pad is on my belt. And then I'm kind of drawing, or it's on my stomach. But if I'm drawing in the studio, I never, ever, ever draw in a pad. I always take the paper out. And the reason why is because I absolutely hate when my hand is on the edge of like a thick pad. I don't like that feeling. I don't like how it makes my hand feel. I need a place to rest my hand on the drawing table / paper. And so when I do a drawing like this, I always take the sheet of paper out of the pad. Okay, so I'm going to use this big brush, get rid of some of these eraser crumbs. And I'm going to do my best now to strive up the back and the side and make this look a little bit more complicated. Now over here I can do a reverse gradation, or I can keep that part of the background like a little bit more dark. I haven't decided what I want to do yet with that. This is a little bone sticking out. It rolls in. Cool. And we've got, I'm just looking here. A rib comes in, make it complicated, and roll down. Okay, cool. And then we've got another rib that sticks out, and then it rolls in, not super dark there. And then a rib sticks out, and then it rolls in. And then we have the lat muscle, and it's a little closer to the edge of the arm. And it really curves to make for a wider back. And then the breast. So the breast, I got to make sure I don't go too low with the breast. It's in the shadow, so I'm not going to make the breast light. Now, I should work on the hand, and I should work on the hair a little bit soon. So I want to go a little darker with this before I start that. But make no mistake about it, the hair should be the darkest dark. Yeah, the yellow. I remember this was years ago, I told all my students, I'm like, go get a color erase pencil. This is when they used to actually sell them. And almost like half the class came back with like a yellow and an orange pencil. I'm like, oh my God, I can't even see your drawings. Are you kidding me right now? So next week they all came in with like darker colors. I like colors when you use them monochromatically in class. That's cool. Yeah, the dark brown is, I like that too. That's a fun pencil. I think this arm goes lower. Darn it. Damn. Okay. Not loving that section, but we'll come back to it. If there's an area of the drawing that you don't love, just don't get caught up. Come back to it after. Now we can go back and make the line that separates the light from the shadow again in our second go around. And it could come a little bit closer here to the edge of the torso. Yep. And let's cruise on down to this rib wrapping around the oval of the rib cage. Now, what I should do is just get a sheet of paper and put it over here, because I can feel the paper starting to buckle from the heat of my hand. What do you think? Should I work until 2? Should I work past 2? Till 1, I meant to say, 1 o'clock. It's 12:45 basically. I do have to stand up soon. I've been sitting for a very long time. I'm curving around the lat muscle, curving around, curved brush strokes, curving around the rib cage, curving brush strokes. Make the body look round. There's a little indent over here. Bottom of the scapula. This part of the back is turning, so it needs to be darker than the middle of the back. And we're going to have some strands of hair going over the back over there. I think I lost some of my ribs. Let's see. Just keep looking at the reference. It is definitely too late to start a different figure. I mean, I could maybe do one. Pencil pages, okay. I could maybe do a quick sketch. I was really, today I almost was going to do the whole thing out of like my imagination. And just maybe I'll do a drawing out of my imagination before the end here. So what is good, you probably on YouTube wouldn't believe me, but an exercise that I do in classes, I have the students draw the model, and then I say, okay, turn your sheet of paper, and now draw the model that you just drew from your imagination. And it's a good way to practice drawing out of, it's really a memory drawing, not a drawing out of one's imagination. So let me just show you. So I've got that nice soft hair, so we can come on in and, oh Jesus, start to add some strands of hair. Just kind of suggesting, for now at least, this is something that I'll probably do when the live stream is over. And I'm probably going to go super dark with the hair. So strands of hair will be extremely important. This is another opportunity for you also. Well, now I can't see the chat when I put that paper there, so that's no good. So why don't I do this? Let me... take it out of my student notebook here. Yeah, I appreciate that, Paul. I just need more time to really flesh it out. But we're getting there. I think, and a shortcut is definitely the brush. Because what the brush did was it gave me some subtle tones. Totally. And then you could draw with your eraser. Curve around very lightly, because if you go to, now over here, we're going to start to curve. Oh, for Pete's sakes, let me get another piece of tape. Yeah, I do notice that when your hand gets hot, it buckles this paper, so I like to put something there. Okay, so now some of these lines should start to curve because we're starting to look down, especially over here. Curve, not dark, light. And then you can erase some of this out, and these lines would be very faint, and they just add so much dimension. And over here now, these lines would curve this way, and that adds to more of the volume. Yeah, I'm going to work on this until like maybe 1-ish. And then maybe we'll put this one to bed. I'll do like a quick sketch from my imagination, and maybe we'll call it a live stream. Now, again, if is anyone here, now is a wonderful time to sign up to coaching. It's you can kind of treat, if you're not in a college situation or a school, you can almost treat it like a semester where you're starting the fall semester with a coach, and you give yourself a schedule. So maybe you're going to meet with a coach every 3 weeks. Maybe you're going to meet with the coach every 2 weeks, or even once a month. And if you sign up to a 4-session coaching and you spread it out to meeting with me for once a month, and that includes me doing a video critique of your artwork, and then that includes us having a follow-up Zoom call, now's a great time, because it's almost like you're kind of going back to school without going back to school. And you're using the months of September and October. You can stretch it out 2 months. You can actually stretch it out into November. So if that interests you, if having somebody draw on top of your drawings while teaching, and then having somebody actually look at your drawings, analyze them, and critique them, somebody that's been teaching at a college and online for 28 years, college 28 years, online, I don't even know, since 2009, 2008, now's a great time to sign up for that. Okay, so where are we? Let me just get a little sip of water here. And then what you can also do with the coaching is you can spread the payments out to 4 payments, and it makes it a little bit more doable for those of you on a budget. So that's another option that I've given, and that's all on matthewarchambault.com. Okay. Oh, and I'm going to work on this drawing after the live stream, and this drawing is going to be for sale on my website. So if anybody is interested in owning this drawing, they really look good in like a frame that has a mat. What I like to do is I like to frame drawings behind glass, and that toe is too long. And then I like to surround the drawing with a mat, and it just looks beautiful. It really looks beautiful framed like that. Yeah, I'm gonna save the details of the foot for after the live stream, but okay. Any other questions before we finish up this drawing for the live stream, and then we'll do one quick one out of our imagination? With those makeup puffy, well, okay, so listen, if the brush is too bendable. Oh, okay, I've got paintbrushes right here. Hold on. So this is more like a makeup brush that I've seen my wife have. This isn't great for blending because it's too soft. It would blend this drawing, no doubt, but it's and I can tap with it, but you need to combine it with like a canvas brush. And a canvas brush is stiffer. It's not so flexible. And then you can get a short canvas brush. So I think it's about experimentation for you. And I think you want to have at least a stiff brush and a soft brush, at least a minimum of 2. Yeah, I think I'm going to put this one to bed for the live stream. And yeah. And I just feel like doing a quick like little sketch out of my imagination for all of you. And I'm going to use the gray paper and a mechanical, so this is kind of practice for me. Yeah, I definitely need to stand up soon. So actually, hold on. I'll be right back. Oh, yeah, I just had to totally bend my back the opposite way. Okay, too much flexion, not enough extension. Oh, okay. Pose would be just doing this out of my imagination. I went through these photos earlier today, and I'm just trying to remember what they kind of looked like. Oh, those. I've never tried the foam style. I've never tried that, if I'm going to be honest with you. Let me just move one thing here so I can see what the heck I'm even doing. Let me try something. Timeout. Oops. Hold on now, people. Better. Okay, I need to remove my iPad. Okay. Drawing out. Oh, I didn't leave myself enough room. Okay, I'm such a jerk. Okay, whatever. Let's just draw. I'll try to make it work. So, how was this? I'm trying to remember what the hell the pose was. Oh, I think. Yeah. I'm such a jerk. I didn't leave enough room. I'll force it. Oh, boy. Okay. Is that on the paper? Let me move the paper over a touch here. Yeah, so totally blue tape, scotch. Yeah, you have to use what you just experiment with the foam to see if that's going to work for you. Okay, so this is how I forgot how this. Oh, the model's arm was covering the breast. That's why I'm remembering this, because I almost like use this because it was better for YouTube. A little bit in the middle. So that's how I would start a quick sketch. Using a mechanical pencil. I mean, mechanical pencil's not really for a quick sketch, but it is what it is for right now. And I'm going to have that heel wrapping around the butt, gravity. This comes forward. Right now, I'm just going to do a cylinder for that leg. And I'm going to shade the front of that. And then I'm going to have that go back. And leg starts here. That's the pelvis. And then we have this, and then we have this. And this is exaggerated due to the camera lens, a little bit longer. We want the knee to come out a little bit, come in, come out, loop down. Too many lines there, too many lines, darn it. and drawing out of our imagination. See, you need to be able to do both. You need to be able to draw out of your imagination and draw from a photo and draw from life. Hi, Portrait Walla. Welcome. You're kind of catching us here at the tail end of the sketch, of the live stream, I should say. I forgot. Oh, I think what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Jawbone. Hair was it was the same model. And I liked it because the hair was kind of covering the model's face. And yeah, it was so much fun. And then, oh, I remember now. So this was all in shadow. And I'm like, it's all in shadow, Matt. There's no information there. How are you going to draw that on the stream? It's not going to work for people. Yeah. So that. Now, I hope you're watching me draw because my eyes are looking down the whole time. I'm not going like this. I'm not looking at reference. I'm looking and I'm thinking as I'm drawing. So that's how I would do a quick figure out of my imagination. That was fun. Do I have room here? What am I doing? What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing here. So this is our last little sketch of the day. So it's been a pretty fun 2-hour live stream. Oh, okay. So what am I doing? So center of the butt, head, arm. I want that on the camera. Let me zoom out a touch. So this would need to be a little lower. Butt would need to be flatter because it's on the ground. So hope you got something from today's live stream. It was fun. It was really good practice for me. Now, remember, people, we're going to be doing this on Mondays starting next week. Totally. Because Monday is going to be the day that I have available to stream. Because I'm going to be teaching college starting September 3rd on Wednesday. And then that's my live drawing class. I've got a live drawing class on Thursday morning, and then I have a perspective backgrounds class on Thursday late afternoon. And then I have 2 perspective background classes on Friday. So I'm swamped with teaching at the college. But I'll be here for you on Mondays on YouTube if you want to join. Make sure to click the bell for notifications. I'll always put it in the posts of my channel page. And then also check out my posts because I'll put a link. All the drawings that I do on the live stream will be for sale if anybody's interested. Okay. I think that's all I got for you today, people. I think that's all I got for you today. Does anybody have any last questions before we call this one done? Cool. Okay, let me do this. All right, so we have our quick sketch, 2 of them, really quick. And we have our drawing that we did, and I'm going to work on it. I'm going to eat some lunch. And all right, Paul, Monday it is, and this is what we did here today. It just needs more work. It just needs more time. That's all. but it's kind of fun, and I don't hate it, so we're okay. How big is this drawing? I guess 7 inches, which is kind of short, but it's not a standing figure. So if it was standing, maybe it would be closer to 10 to 11 inches, which you just want to draw bigger with your figure drawings. The bigger, the better. All right. Muskiest Muskrat, thank you so much for joining me today on the live stream. And Portrait Walla, perfect. I appreciate you joining. Paul, I appreciate you joining. Pencil Pages, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for your wonderful questions today. Now, see, it's time to end the live stream. I'm starting to get delusional now. I need to get up and move. So I'm going to probably eat some lunch and go for like a little walk, get my body moving, get my blood moving, and then I'll come back and work on this drawing some more. I don't know if I'm going to finish it today. I'm going to try. And then I'll post it to the post on my page. Be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Make sure you click on the notifications bell. We're going live every Monday at 10 a.m. And for those of you who are members of my website, drawingtutorialsonline.com, our fall semester starts on September 2nd at 2 p.m. We're going to stick with the 2 p.m. time. Yeah, absolutely. And all right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. I'm just a little delay. I'm just waiting. Be sure to like the video. That would be awesome. All right. I'm out of here, people. I'll see you on Monday at 10 a.m. I look forward to it. Have a great weekend, everybody.